Hello, everyone. I am still in transit in a different hotel today, but got some time to do a quick recording for the day. I wanted to spend some more time talking about a different subject, but I do think that I'm just going to have to do speed paintings probably for today and tomorrow. We'll see how tomorrow goes. And this time I'm not going to put any timer. I'm just going to talk a little bit about a couple things. So one of the things that really fascinates me about concept art specifically, what I love about concept art, is just the iterative nature of it. I think this is why I love it so much. I think about the kind of individual I am. I like to try new things. I like to experiment. I like to see and learn and grow from all the stuff that I'm exposed to. So doing concept art is really fun because what it does is, especially when I work on all these different projects, like they always ask me to do something different. They're like, hey, can you try this? Can you try that? And these challenges tend to be really exciting and very enjoyable. And so I like concept art for this very reason. And I think whenever people do concept art, they don't understand kind of the goal of it. Like what's the actual agenda here? And a bit of this can be blamed just from, social media. Think about it. Like social media typically about most things. That's my alarm. Tell me to do a video. Um, Social media, like when you think about like some kind of normal stuff, for instance, people's appearances and what have you online, it can give you this perspective of you're not good enough or you aren't potentially worth anything because you see all these people who do really, or people with like extraordinary bodies, whatever, and you like look at that and you're like, oh, I'm not capable of that for whatever reason. And I think with art, it's the same thing. Like when you see all these extraordinary artists who claim to be concept artists, especially, and you see these beautifully painted drawings, and it comes to be this idea of like, oh, I need to also have beautiful drawings to be a competent concept artist, and that's not true. I have worked with quite a few concept artists who can't necessarily render at a high level, but are incredibly creative. Let me be real clear though. I do believe that most artists, regardless if they're illustrators or concept artists or whatever, should have some competency in their ability to draw something of quality. I do believe this. I think that you should always aim for the stars. You should always have a incredibly valuable presentation to the work because it is the most effective representation of the ideas, visual ideas. But I think people might over-index on this, thinking that you just need beautiful pictures. So they'll start to like just learn 3D softwares, or they'll start to learn how to photo bash, or they'll think AI. AI is the way because it's just look how proficient it makes my image look. But the reality is like you're a visual problem solver. You're a visual engineer. Somebody comes to you, they give you a bunch of ideas. You know, this is something that I think an AI tool can do effectively, right? You just write a bunch of stuff and it'll just show you an image. The problem that it suffers from that that a human can do really effectively is hear those ideas from the person and kind of read the room, read the reaction, see the references that they're talking about, and understand kind of the explanation that drives them towards that kind of imagery that they're trying to have you draw in the first place. But not only that, it's iterative. Once they have done this, once they have told you their ideas, you go through a pass. We explore the ideas together, we show each other cool ideas, and we talk about it, and then we elevate and pivot. What's interesting to me is that this is not only part of the process, it's almost the product. Like that's the product of concept art is that exploration, that journey together, working towards something. Whenever you see a lot of my personal work, the challenge that my personal work tends to have over my professional work is that my personal work tends to not have that. It doesn't have that journey. It doesn't have that exploration that I would get if I was working with others. Because what will tend to happen is people will tell me what they think is cool and what they don't think is cool, and I will iterate. And usually my professional work at the end of it will look pretty cool and have incredible skill and quality. And a lot of the people who post professional work will fall into the same category, because our professional work is usually a product of collaboration and iteration. And so whenever you see these people on, again, I kind of blame a little bit of social media, like you see these pieces of artwork that are incredibly impressive, it appears like it was all on their own. Even this image right now, as I'm painting it, might feel that this is my own original take, my own ideas, but usually I have something in mind that I'm trying to learn, something I'm trying to capture. In fact, what typically will go through my mind is what I did not do a good job with at my work, and what I got feedback on, and what I want to try to improve with my personal work. I use my personal time to grow myself personally. And what can happen is when you look at a portfolio, quote unquote, in quotations, like my online portfolio, my persona online, you look at a lot of my artwork, it is probably a better representation of exploration and of the journey, because you'll see all sorts of kinds of work from all sorts of styles and all sorts of quality levels. And that's just because that's just how I navigate and how I try to operate and get better. But what it isn't doing is showing what I believe is high caliber work. Now, luckily for me, I have been doing this for quite a long time, that I don't necessarily have to always be front facing. In fact, a lot of my gigs that I get is almost entirely word of mouth. Like, a lot of people work with me, they have a good time, and then they tell others, and then they have a good time, and then they tell others, and so forth and so on. I just constantly keep getting work just through that and that alone. I think this is the same way my courses sell. You know, right now I've sold out all the way to August, and I think it's just, again, a word of mouth. And it's interesting because, you know, I'm not that formal of an educator in the sense of, like, I just have like a perfectly calibrated course that you follow step by step. Even my scheduling of my classes can be erratic because I work a lot. I travel, I do stuff all the fucking time, so I'm just really sporadic. But yet people still say, hey, you should take this guy's class. And perhaps it's because of how authentic it is. It's literally, you're just paying for my time to have a conversation with you. And it's not just a lesson. Like, I'm like literally there, I'm present, I'm talking with you and trying to help you. And I think that goes a long way. It doesn't feel like, I don't know how else to like prescribed. It's just kind of like a genuine brand of, like, it feels like I'm just sitting right next to you and we're having a conversation, we're just chatting, and I'm trying to get you through it. Like, I my favorite terms that describe me is like art therapist or art physical therapy, which is great. I like that. I think that's a pretty accurate description of what I offer. But I don't know if that is an effective portfolio to demonstrate as an educator, right? But it is who I am. It is how I operate. And so one of the things that I really like to make clear to my students is that when you see it online isn't exactly the entire story. Even the stuff like I talked about, like showing what I've shown, is not the entire story. There's a lot more to it. I am a lot more of an individual that collaborates with many other creative and smarter people than myself to help me, push me, and drive me to greater lengths of skill. And I think because I worked on so many different projects with so many incredible people, I just keep getting better and better at a pretty exponential rate. And I am very grateful for this. But to think that concept art and all this great artwork is just these people's innate ability to pump out this type of content all on their own without any assistance of any kind is just not true. Even right now, like I said, what I'm drawing for you, even if you see other people draw something without any external forces, they're just just off the dome, drawing a beautiful sketch that you wish you could do, you can't even do in your dreams, is a result of all of their exposure to some incredible talents and incredible feedback and incredible expectations that they have just pushed onto their overall and actual work. And so whenever you feel you're not doing a good painting, maybe ask yourself, are you iterating it? Are you exposing it to other people so it's more collaborative? Are you getting more feedback from others? Right? Is it almost primarily just from your dome? Are you not studying? Are you not using any kind of helpful reference? Is this truly just all on you? Wait, hold on. I think my daughter is knocking at the door. No? Okay. Yeah, I'm in a different hotel. It's much more cramped. I'm actually lucky that the kids have been super quiet. I have both my babies in here, and they're just totally engulfed in their devices. Normally, they will still interact with me and chill. Luckily, they do not actually care much for their devices as much as just hanging out with pops, which is great. It's funny because, especially on my youngest one, he absolutely gets bored with it. Like, I don't even have to say it. He just will stop and he'll just start playing with the toys. It's kind of interesting to see him be more entertained with himself than with the iPad, which is normally the opposite, right? Usually people will be stun locked by their devices. I find that true with myself too. Like I absolutely cannot stand being on my phone for so long. I immediately want to do something else. Um, but I always imagine that's just a product of me being a little bit older and experiencing real life and knowing what real life's so much more interesting. Um, but he doesn't have that. Like he doesn't have all that experience yet, and yet he's already kind of like, yeah, it's kind of whatever. Like, running around is so much more fun, you know, which is the right take. But anyway, um, yeah. So the next time you have like these moments and these reflections about what you feel, how good or bad your artwork is, and it could be a product and reflection of, like I said, what you think other people aren't doing, that you keep doing. Like you keep making these mistakes, and these people definitely don't make these mistakes. It's like, well, they did. You just haven't seen it. You haven't been around for that. You've only seen their successes, right? They've only shown you their successes, and one day you'll be the same way. One day you will almost certainly never show people all the failures, not as a scheme to hide your insecurities, but just because you'll be too busy making good work. And as you make good work, you're not worried about showing people old work. You just focus on making more new awesome work. And you're working on cool projects, and then you're getting better because you're working on better projects, and it just compounds and compounds and compounds. And the next thing you know, you are an extremely successful artist, potentially in the same vein as myself, where you can now share that knowledge with others and help them overcome some of their challenges and say the same things that I'm saying to you, almost certainly. Be like, hey, I went through the same problems, and this is what happened to me, and this is how I solved this, and that, and that, and that, and that. Then all of a sudden, yeah, you're just all this awesome instructor, and that's great. We need more. And so, yeah, I think that whenever you are comparing yourself to a lot of these concept artists, and you are focused on primarily the high quality imagery versus the iterative nature that got him there, yeah, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice. But if you refocus and say, okay, I need to be more iterative and start to focus on trying to create content that is more collaborative, and I can show it to other people and they can give me some feedback and insight on what I can do to get better. Once you begin that journey, then you will begin to get really, really good. I assure you. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Go hang out. My son actually just started talking to me right now. Not sure if you guys heard him, but that's my cue. I'm actually surprised they let me talk for this long. but let's put a couple bright lights in here. I don't know if I like that one right there. Made sense to me in my mind. But kind of looks like a goober. This feels a little bit better. Yeah, I want to get better at doing more environments. I haven't been able to. I've just been working quite a lot and then all this move. Um, and I haven't painted like a robot in a little bit, so I was like, let's do a little bit of grayscale robot. I did like that mech head helmet thingy, and that felt fun. So I was like, let's do some more of that. But want to do a lot more landscapes. I also realized I should sharpen my portrait sketching and drawing. Something I don't ever train a lot is like accuracy in portraits. I could draw faces really well, but not like I would say 100% accurate to kind of some of my favorite portrait artists. But that's because that's our entire trade. I am a character concept artist and illustrator, so I tend to not worry about single features. But it would be time to kind of get really sharp at that. Another thing that I would love to get really good at is just general overall vibes of gesture and posing. There's some artists that I've been following lately that have like incredible character gestures. I am capable of doing this, but it is not at my highest stats. So I've been like painting a lot for the YouTube, been painting a lot for work, and it's been really inspiring me to only get better. Again, in spite of stuff like the AI art feel that people think is a real thing. I've actually only doubled down on trying to be better as an artist than to be afraid. I don't feel any fear at all. I'm only now. I'm like not only am I spiteful, I am actually very assured the value that I think human artists actually bring from what I've been seeing with all this stuff that people thought AI art could do. In fact, there's some really popular streamers that have been making some commentary in the last few weeks and months that I just saw and I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to do some commentary responses to them because I think it's pretty shallow and honestly they have too big of audiences to be saying this type of stuff. And we need a bit of balance. Again, I'm not about that drama, so I'm not trying to get out here starting to fight. But I do think that it would be good to kind of have a bit of meaningful back and forth for as long as it makes sense too. But that is not what I'm here for, right? Again, main goal, make art, talk art, have people get inspired to fight against the machines, dude. Sketch against the machines. So, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. This weekend and next week are going to be tough. So I am predicting that I am going to be talking at you guys, no drawing. So be prepared for AJ walks in the wilderness, talking straight to the camera. But I am not going to miss a day if I can. Again, I missed one, but I don't count that. I'm doing the Duolingo don't skip 2 days vibe. So as far as I'm concerned, I haven't skipped a single day. Anyway, cheers, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the sketch and the little chat. Talk to you guys in my next video.